Hello, welcome to Robyn's Roost. Today we are going to be making a cute little birdhouse treat box. So we're going to be using the Countryside Birdhouse stamp set and the matching dies. They are available in the 2024-2025 annual Stampin' Up catalog. So I am going to show you a sample here first. We're going to make one in red, white, and blue. Since I'm making this right before the 4th of July, I wanted to do one in red, white, and blue. We'll see how it turns out, right? So you can make this in any colors, of course, you know. Think of, little kids when they paint their birdhouse that they made. You get to make it any way you want it. So we've got the die that cuts out the cool birdhouse shape. We've got the little bird. We've got several different flowers and things that we can use to decorate our birdhouse. And there are some awesome greetings too. So we're going to make a little box to go in between. And you could make this bigger if you wanted. This one, I got these dimensions from my friend Connie, who actually displayed this on a group Zoom meeting, and I was so excited by her box that I bought the stamp set. Really, it was on my list, but I thought I can live without it. But then Connie made this box, and I'm not usually a box girl, but it was so darn cute. And I've seen other really cute home decor projects done with this, as well as cards. So I think I'm going to make a cool wall hanging with this as well, with the birds. My name is Robyn, so I tried to make my bird look like a robin on this one. So I could see doing a little Robyn's Roost wording with a little sign. It's in my future. If I get it done, I'll show it to you on my blog. So anyways, let's flip the camera and get started. So I have my scoreboard ready, and I have a piece of red cardstock, because like I said, I'm going to make this a red, white, and blue one that is 4.5 by 4.5. Now we're going to score it at 1.5 and 3 inches. Whoops. And then we're going to flip it and do the same thing. 1.5. Oops. Be more careful. And 3 inches. So super simple scoring and measurements. I love that. Take that out of the way. Now we're just going to cut on opposite sides. We're going to make little angled cuts so that you have a little bit of space in your tabs when you flip them over. On opposite sides. Didn't get that one quite far enough. I just love that the measurements worked out for this to be so simple. That isn't always the case. So then we're just going to fold on all of our score lines. And now you can use tear and tape or Stampin' Seal Plus, liquid glue, any of your nice sturdy glue options. I had to think about which way I wanted to put this. Let's see. I think we're going to put the angled one in. So then we're just going to fold our box together. So then let's just start adding some adhesive, and I'm using Stampin' Seal Plus. It's kind of my preferred adhesive. So we've got our little box that's going to hold our treats. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could make your measurements a little bit bigger. But then like Connie said, they're going to stick out past your birdhouse, but it just depends on what you want it to look like. So now I have some red paper to do my stamping on for my birdhouse. Oops. So I didn't get my block out. And here I thought I was all ready. Now, do you know that when you pick up photopolymer stamps and put them on your block, you're better off to lay them down and pick them up like I just did? Because especially when you're using a die to cut them out, if you flap them on this way, you might wiggle them so they're not quite square, and then your die isn't going to cut them out quite right. So I'm only going to stamp one of the birdhouses, but you could stamp two if you wanted. I'm going to die cut two, but only have the front one actually stamped and decorated. So now I am going to go and die cut my two birdhouses. So here are our two birdhouses. And if you were wondering, I cut this 4 inches, and look at how cool, you know, this is just across the sheet of paper. You can sandwich them in there so it doesn't take a lot of paper. You don't waste a lot. Now, I don't know why I didn't do this first, but let's pull in. I need to do my blue roof pieces and my bird. So let's stamp our bird, because the roof pieces don't get stamped, but we want the bird and maybe some flowers. Okay, so we've got our little bird, and you noticed I slapped him right on there. I'm not too worried about him. He's smaller. But it probably would have been better to put it down and then pick it up. And then I'm going to do for this one, let's do this big flower and then a couple of these little ones. Let's see if we can get a couple of them on here. So do our bird, and I'm going to color him blue. And then we'll probably color our flowers red and put them on this bottom part, because we are going to, let's do a couple of them. I don't know if we'll use all of those, but it'll give us some extras. So I'm going to cut a blue piece for this, a blue piece for here, and then a little white strip for that line. So that'll give us some nice red, white, and blue colors. Now let's go ahead and color. I'm using Azure Afternoon. I also want to call it Azure Blue for my bird. I'm going to start with the light. It's the perfect color, I think, for an indigo bunting. They are so pretty. Now I'm going to pull in the dark and just kind of go around, like under his wing a little bit. His tummy. I don't want to make him too dark. I'm just going to end there. And then I need a little bit of yellow. Okay, finally found a yellow. Here's some light lemon lolly. Just to give his beak and his legs a little bit of color. And now let's do the flowers in Poppy Parade. We've got real red for the base, and we'll do some Poppy Parade for the flowers. I'd like to even pull in some yellow, but I'm kind of, whoops, wrong end. I'm kind of going with the whole red, white, and blue thing, so we'll stick with that. And then we'll take the dark and we'll just kind of go in these, like in the corners here. Okay, and for these guys, let's say that this would be darker. on the inside. And I just thought for fun, let's make these two the dark azure blue. I don't know. We'll see when we get to putting them on how they look. And then I have some nice fresh Granny Apple, I think is what they are. My old ones were getting a little empty. So, yep, let's start with the light here. I think I might just use the light and not do any shading at all. It's such a nice, bright, cheerful color. Okay, now we'll go cut these out, and we need our white and blue pieces. Whew, that was a lot of die cutting. So I thought I'd pull the dies in here to show you what some of the offerings are in here. So you could make this birdhouse strictly with the dies if you wanted as well, and not stamp anything. So you've got the little decorative edges for the roof, and of course you've got your bird, and you've got dies that cut out the flowers. You've got some extra leaves and some flowers that don't have stamps that match. There aren't really any leaves either, so the leaf ones are just dies without stamps. And then I wanted to mention too, these little guys that cut out these smallest flowers. Boy, they were tricky to match up. So once you get them matched up, I would take a permanent marker and like make a mark on it somewhere on your stamp and on your die if you're going to use them much, because they were a little bit of a pain to figure out which end was up. And then this one, which is actually this flower. We've got one that cuts out the hole for the birdhouse, which we won't be using today. You could if you wanted, but I'm not going to. And then you have a post, and you also have a bow that you could hang your birdhouse with if you had it on a card. So we'll set those off to the side. I think we're done with them. And let's start our assembly. So for this, I'm going to use some liquid glue. And I'm just going to got a little bit more than I really needed there. This liquid glue, if you could do just a really, really thin coat, would be the absolute best. So we're just going to add on our colors here. And then our little white strip. Maybe I should have used Night of Navy. It would have been more patriotic, perhaps. Let's see. I think I need to go out just a little bit more on some of these, especially on the end. Okay. Not sure why that's hanging over. I think I want to give it a little snip here, if I like that. I don't remember that on the other one. Maybe I just didn't notice it. Okay. Oh, I knew I would forget something. We also have our little perch. And there is a, whoops, almost put it on upside down. Oh, it looks like I maybe hit the end of the paper there. There is a die for the perch as well, a little circle. So I am going to go cut one of those out. So I just cut out a little piece of early espresso. You know, sometimes you really, really need a little circle for something. And this is one I've got to keep in mind, if I can remember that I have this cool little circle. It must be, let's see, it's about 1/4 of an inch, I think, if I'm looking at my lines on my glass mat here. So now let's decide where we're going to put our bird. Is he going to be standing on the perch? I think maybe that's where we'll put him. The other one I actually cut his feet off, I think. Let me look. Yes, I cut his feet off and had him sitting in his nest, but let's do that. And then that one didn't cut out very good, did it? Let's see. Maybe we'll just use the little flowers. I can cover up my boo-boo there. We'll just put the little flowers here. And then, oh, I almost forgot. We have that greeting. We can say, hello, friend. That's about the only one that's going to fit actually on the birdhouse. Some of these greetings would fit across the bottom if you wanted. But let's do the hello, friend on there before I get carried away. And you'll notice the only ink I'm using for this is the Tuxedo Black. We're going to need to go all the way up almost to the perch to get him to fit. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think just these. Let's see, maybe we'll put that one. We'll go blue, red, blue, red. Okay. Maybe we'll pop our bird up because he is standing on his perch, right? I think one dimensional should do it. And then let's move these off for a second. Do you know it's a lot easier to put the glue on the big piece and then put your little pieces into the glue rather than trying to put the glue on them and then hoochie-coochie it around? Now we can put our box together. And I think I'm just going to use this liquid glue here as well. So I can stand him flat so I get it flat. And then make sure the sides are even. Give it a good squish. And then let's do the same thing on the back. Oh, and then I actually bought some chocolates for my girls that come to my card class, but I left them in the refrigerator, so you'll have to imagine the chocolates. Okay. There is our red, white, and blue patriotic birdhouse. Yep, our pink one. I think I'm going to make a bunch of these in different colors and see which ones I like best. So, hope you enjoyed this. If you want to purchase these supplies, go ahead and go to the website that I've listed below, and you can get everything you need to make these fun birdhouse treat boxes. Thanks for stopping by at the Roost.